bit of a different video today. I am going to be doing some winding on my yarn winder. Don't mind my little pothos here in the frame. She's just hanging down off my kitchen cupboards. Welcome, my name is Julianne. On this channel we do all sorts of crafty things, and today is going to be winding yarn, getting it ready to be over dyed. If you follow my vlog, you'll know that a couple of weeks ago I frogged a sweater so that I can re-knit that yarn into a new sweater. I have hit a snag with that, however, because I thought this was worsted weight, but it's actually sport weight, so that's another problem for another day. But for the moment I'm going to be winding the yarn. As I frogged my sweater, I just turned it into cakes of yarn, and I'm turning these cakes of yarn back into skeins so that I can dye them and add a little bit of pink to these, obviously, because, you know, I like a bit of pink. So I thought what I would do is I would show you guys how I do that, and then on another day I'll take you through the dyeing of said yarn. So join me as I do all of this. I'll take you through a little bit of a tour of how I do this, what I use. We'll get to that now. Alright, first up we are in my kitchen. So we have coffee machines, food processors, stand mixers, all sorts in here. But this is a wall unit that my husband and I purchased from IKEA. It is the Ivar wall unit. I don't believe they sell these table pieces anymore, or if they do, they are different. So if you're interested into what that is, that explains that. So this is my Crazy Monkey skein winder. So this is a powered one. It just has these little clips to hold the ends of the yarn, and then along with that I use some kitchen scales. I purchased these on eBay, I believe. I put my cakes of yarn on here, and then I can read off how much I am skeining. What I will do is I will grab one of these, turn this guy on. It's probably going to blow out the screen a little bit. This cake weighs 104 grams, so I'm just going to go ahead and skein that ready to dye. First things first, just need to find the end of my yarn. So my skein winder has these little bits here. I don't know what you call them, but basically you feed the yarn through them. It's probably a little bit, that's a bit better. So it has these little loops that you can feed the yarn through, and then that is going to go up to here where we have these clips. So I'm just going to clip the end of the yarn in just like that, and I'm going to do what the post-it on my winder here says, check arms, because if you don't tighten those arms, as soon as it starts turning, that's going to collapse. And I like to give it just a little bit of tension. I've got it here running off my fingers. My skein winder needs a bit of a tighten. It's clunking a little bit at the moment, off and on, so just ignore that. And then that's it. Basically it just winds it into skeins. So now that that is all wound, I just have to tie the skeins off so they stay nice and secure when I'm dyeing. So I tend to do at least 3 ties. The first tie is actually the 2 ends that I twist together and then tie, and then the other 2 are just end pieces of yarn. So I'll show you how I do that now. So I have my clipped end up here where the start of the skein was. And then what I'm going to do is cut the yarn just here. So just like that, and then I have this tail which I am going to use to do 2 of my ties. So I'm just going to snip that in half, and I'm just using these thread snips here that I got from Spotlight. Hopefully you'll be able to see what it is that I'm doing here. So I'm going to unhook the clip, bring down that piece of yarn. So I've got both of my ends here, and I'm going to just loop one over the other like that, and then just going to give them a little bit of a tug just to get them nice and taut. And then what we're going to do is sort of figure 8 them through the yarn. This is going to be really hard to see because I don't have a lot of room here in my kitchen. So basically I'm going to take some of the skein. That yarn is going to come through, and then the bottom yarn is going to go to the other side. So basically what I've done is made figure eights on the ties. You might be able to see that there. Do a knot, just an overhand sort of knot, I don't know what you call it, but just put both ends together, and I like to keep it quite loose because then that way the yarn has space to spread and make sure that the dye gets in everywhere that there's the tie. I usually just give the ends a bit of a snip and nice and neat. So I've got a tie, I'm gonna just pull it around the back. I'm gonna make a hole, like a split in the skein. Make sure we're kind of focused, and I've just put in the first twist and then pull that through, and do a nice loose tie. So again, lots of space for the yarn to spread. And then I'll just put in my third one, and I use these cable ties. They're just reusable cable ties. You can see they've just got this little trigger here that you can use to like that's locked, and then it will just open up. So I use these so that's not much waste of cable ties. And then all I do is just loosen one arm, and I have my skein, which I will just twist for now so I can put it to the side and it's nice and neat and ready to be dyed.